Good morning, everyone. Hello. Just for right now, it's me. So all you get is me right now. Hi, I'm Jimmy, if you don't know who I am. I see Dolores in the comment section. So hi, Dolores. Yes, hit the like button, subscribe, share. Thank you for being here. Lots of things have been going on this weekend. A lot of parents know school starts this week or started this week and starts this week as well. Some started last week. So a lot of last minute school shopping. Looked like all the stores were just packed. It felt like I haven't been in a long ass line in a long time. So it almost felt like going to like theme parks when they're really busy. It was not fun. My kid hated it. She fought with me. She wanted clothes she's not allowed to have. Not yet, at least. Not at least I'm comfortable with buying for her yet. I mean, I don't care if her friends give her clothes like, short shirts and she wants to wear those, but she wanted me to buy them. So that was pretty brutal having to deal with that. Good morning, Holly. Just talking about my weekend, school shopping with the kids. It's brutal. No fun. I think from now on, I think I'm just gonna give my kid like $100 or $200 and just send her off with her friends and she can just go pick what she wants. Cause yeah, it was not fun at all. I had no fun. I'm trying to get her like, cause some malls have, the clothes that these kids like. It's just not name brand. But they're still the same clothes. And she just kept wanting to go into these name brand stores. And I'm like, you're not going to get anything in here. Can't do it. Like either you get, a bunch of clothes for school for like a couple $100s, or you get 3 or 4 items for school for a couple $100s. I'm not doing all that. Like we're not rich or anything. So having to try to teach her the value of a dollar and, how hard we work for it. And, you can get the same good things without the name brands and all of that stuff. So that was fun. Yes, it's that time exactly, school shopping. So that's all I did all weekend was fight with my 14-year-old daughter about school clothes and things that she wanted to get for school. It was no fun. And then, waiting in the long lines because of all the other parents who were doing the last minute school shopping. But it was really cool to like hear like a bunch of other parents all over everywhere was just arguing with their kids. And, it was just a bonding time for like me and then the other parents. Like, it was just really cool to see that, uh, just that bonding thing of all of us. Like every parent out there and at that time was just not having fun. So yeah. I know, yeah. I'm cheap though. That's the thing is like yeah, I want to go and get her like the clothes that she likes. Like I don't care about getting her like, the baggy pants with the ripped torn stuff all over them. But like you're going to pay, you're wanting to pay like $85 just cuz it has this name brand for this pants when, like 3 stores over there's this teen clothing store that's selling those exact same pants for like $10. Wouldn't you rather have like 5 or 6 different ones of those instead of just one that's, what your friends are going to know that it's name brand and then they're going to move on. Like it's not that big of a deal. So yeah, it's been brutal. And now my kid's in high school, so she's up a lot earlier. Like junior high and elementary, we'd get up at like 8 o'clock or 7:30, and get her to the bus by like 8:20, 8:30. So, but now she's in high school, so the time has completely changed. And she's got to be at the bus at, what was it? I believe it's like 7. Is it 7:40 or 6:40? I don't know. It's 6:40 because we have to wake up at 6 a.m. She wakes up at 6. She thinks she can get ready in 30 minutes. We'll see how long that lasts. But yeah, that's been the hard thing is getting up at 6 a.m. every morning. I am not used to this at all. So I am exhausted and poopered. And if you look, where is it on this side right here? I've got like 2 little pokes again because my cats decided they wanted to climb up in the window and then jump down right on my head while I was sleeping last night. So I got some more scratch marks from kitty cats, which is fun. So yeah, that's been my weekend. That's pretty much what I've been doing all weekend is school shopping and still some more cat wrangling. I got a couple people that came by to look at the cats. nobody was really interested. One lady said she'd ask her husband, that means no. So one lady, I actually didn't even reply to her because I'm just really picky about where my cats go. And to be a little bit biased, I did not pick her because she was super religious, super transparency there, but whatever. At least it's religion. And then one lady asked to come by and asked about the kittens. And she said, wanting to know if they were potty trained yet. And I was like, yeah, they're still potty training. I mean, you got like 3 of them that are ready and 1 that's not ready. And then the one that's not ready yet fucks up everybody else. So yeah, they're still all training because they all have to train at the same time because one fails and then they all start lagging. So she's like, oh, well, potty training isn't must. It has to be. So thanks for being honest. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. I'm honest. Sucks that you have to have that, though. I mean, wouldn't you think, like, I've got 5 fucking kittens. Wouldn't you think that having one mess up would mess up everybody else? And maybe you taking one of them and finish training them on your own in your own way would probably be the best, but whatever. Maybe I'm being selfish. And I'm just exhausted and tired and pooped out from all these fucking animals and children. But yeah, that's been my weekend. Ready to start another week. Work, do all this fun stuff. Good morning, Amber. Nice to see you. Thank you for stopping by. Might as well get started on the news now since it is way past. I talk a lot. That's great. I always was afraid that I wouldn't talk enough, but I'm not doing too bad. I just got a cat over here trying to claw under my door. All right, so this is the first story I wanted to talk about. I really enjoy looking at like other countries and the histories and everybody else's and see where other people are at and the similarities between histories and things like that. So Papua New Guinea fails to end quote unquote evil of sorcery related violence. So there's people that are being hurt and abused and tortured because they believe that these some men, but mostly women, are witches. Makes you think of Salem, England, like, so pretty much Papua New Guinea is us in like 1600s pretty much. Trigger warning, some of this stuff is pretty brutal, not very nice at all. Reports of machete-wielding men slashing innocent bystanders, arson attacks, sexual violence against girls, and the displacement of thousands of people during last month's election in Papua New Guinea have drawn international condemnation. But an even more insidious form of violence continues to plague the country, what is called SARV, sorcery accusation-related violence. The public torture and murder of women accused of witchcraft. The most recent high-profile case followed the unexplained death, most probably from a heart attack or stroke, of trucking magnate Jacob Luke while bushwalking in Enga, a rugged, poorly developed province in the highlands of Papua New Guinea, whose body was discovered by telecommunication workers on July 21st. The following morning, members of his tribe singled out 9 women, including 2 in their 60s and 1 who was pregnant, and accused them of, I don't want to mess that up, but kaikailua, secretly removing the victim's heart and eating it to gain their virility, which that's what they say is what these women are doing. After one of the women admitted to the allegation because she was so scared, the group was splashed with petrol and burned. 5 women were then singled out for torture, which consisted of being tied, no clothes, to poles and assaulted with hot irons in bad areas, watched by a male crowd, included some children and members of victims' families. Gotta love Al Jazeera, not holding anything back. Let me see if anyone says anything in here. No, we good on the comments still? Okay. When the news of the torture spread, 6 police officers and a layman representative of the Catholic Church traveled to rescue the women, but after a tense standoff involving hundreds of angry armed villagers convinced beyond doubt of the women's guilt, the police backed off. A second attempt the next day also failed, but they managed to later at least rescue 5. The rest had passed. They were tortured from Friday morning until midnight and lost a lot of body tissue and blood, so only 5 of them survived. They were giving bad smell from their wounds. Dixon, who's helped rescue more than 600 women and children accused of sorcery since 2015, says witch hunting in the province is becoming more barbaric and more frequent. That rescue was last weekend, he said, on August 2nd. This weekend just passed, we rescued another woman accused of sorcery. They tortured her, cut her with a machete, and burned her skin off. It's just this horrifying trend. Published this Australian thing published in 2020 found that the attention on witchcraft and torture and killing of women alleged to be involved in sorcery was not only warranted, but also urgent, considering the apparent increase in number and the brutality with which the witch hunters operate. I believe this right here is some homes of peoples in village. In a paper published a year earlier, the same authors found it was very clear it is entering new geographical areas like Inga, where they had found no records of such attacks taking place before 2010. But he said in the past, the violence here was culturally oriented. They fought over land, property, pigs, women. But now it's changing in this modern area. They're seeing trends like robbery, rape, accusation of sorcery because the youth is confused. Pretty sure it's because they're bringing religion to those areas, which they've been trying to do for like the last 15 to 20 years, at least, I think. Another clear pattern that has emerged is the impunity enjoyed by those who are carrying out these attacks. They found in 2017 just 91 out of 15,000 perpetrators were imprisoned, but a follow-up study published 12 months later in 2018, some 121 were given harsh sentences for violence in relation to 6 cases of willful murder. In those cases, the victims were men, though, so they're still not doing very much. They're only accusing people of murdering men, not women, for witchcraft. The researchers concluded misogyny was a factor in not just the attacks itself, but in the response to crimes, like any kind of crime that's going on around there. Notably, the gendered trend in these judgments we have observed earlier continues in that all the victims of these cases were men, suggesting that cases involving male victims are more likely to proceed. Recent case, no arrest has been made. Another problem is many policemen don't take these events too seriously. Somebody said, I remember on one case where I sent 2 officers to arrest some people involved in torture, and instead they started interrogating the victims, pressuring them to confess they were sorcerers. And I had them disciplined, but they got off with the charges. This is pretty much what they're doing to people. I mean, that looks like a man. Various initiatives have been introduced to stamp out the violence, but none have been successful. The government announced SNAP. It's a holistic initiative focusing on counseling, awareness, health advocacy, protection, and research, but had no solid targets. How is that going to help? It's really, really sad what's happening out there. I mean, I remember back in the 90s, people, when they used to talk about Papua New Guinea. Hi, Atras. Good morning. Thank you for coming by. Lust Bones. Hi. Sorry, I was reading this. Good morning, you guys. I remember in the 90s when we would talk about Papua New Guinea, it would be something that, it was like that island where people don't go to. They don't want anybody there. They like being, like very savage and very, very old school. I remember it being like that. But then I remember reading a lot about mission trips there and religions going out there and, quote unquote, building for the community. So Yeah, definitely religion is a primary brain of society. It's used to justify any and all kinds of horrors. Exactly. And that's what's been going on out there. I think they've just been trying to, religious people have been trying to colonize and change out there. So nothing is, just like what they did to the Native Americans here. And then, just what England people did here. It's all the same. We're just doing it out there. And now we're seeing where they are, at least in comparison to like our historical, white historical aspects, where they are because of this. I mean, we did the same thing because of religion. A lot of religion was brought in overseas here to America. It was religion. It was the reason why the Salem witch trials happened and women were accused. Only one man died in the Salem witch trials. And that's because he was a G and said more weight. So but it just goes to show where they are in the aspects of things and how history is going to continually repeat itself because we're not learning our lessons, because religion is just such a horrible, disgusting, awful thing. And there's nothing good that's coming out of it. So why do we continually do it and spread it? It even said it in the article that these kids are confused. So it's a really sad thing. And I really hate to see that that's happening because, yeah, what happened to, just let them grow on their own. Like, I wish they were like an island so that they can stay by themselves. So I got a few articles, so I want to get on to the next one before I run out of time like last week. So let me add this. Okay. So a primate research center head, this guy right here, is going to keep his job despite misconduct. So it just really upsets me when I hear that they're still really, like, they're testing things on animals. It's really, really sad, especially things that are, animals that are so close to and similar to human beings. Just any animal whatsoever. I get science. I get the necessity of evil for science and, discoveries, but it's still really sad because there's things like this that happen. People do bad things and they get away with it. So a decision at the SNPRC to retain its director with full duties despite finding that he engaged in research misconduct has sparked disbelief. Investigation released Wednesday found his name is Deepak guilty of intentionally, knowingly, and or recklessly falsifying and fabricating data in a monkey study, which was published in one paper and 2 grant applications. Don't worry, we're not talking about monkey bones. Don't worry. It's disappointing that there's no real consequences, says Joanne Flynn. She's a microbiologist at this University of Pittsburgh. That's where it's at, University of Pittsburgh. Thank you. It's bad for the field. There's already such mistrust of science as it is. I completely agree. He hasn't escaped all consequences. As a part of the settlement agreement, his research will be supervised for a year by a committee of senior faculty members, which doesn't do much of anything. Let's see. The misconduct case stems from a study published by Kashal and colleagues in February 2020, working at the Tulane National Primate Research Center, where Kashal was then the director of the Center for Tuberculosis Research. That's right. This was for tuberculosis research. The team tested whether a combination of 2 drugs could clear the tuberculosis bacterium from monkeys with infections but no symptoms. The scientists reported they treated 7 monkeys and then infected these animals and 7 controls with simian immunodeficiency virus, which is closely related to HIV in humans and reactivates tuberculosis. Tuberculosis symptoms did not return in any of the treated animals, the team reported, but most of the controls fell ill with the disease. So Kashal subsequently included data from the study into NIH grant applications. That was the big part right there, is that he put out this study to get grants as well, and it was falsified studies. He falsified these and yeah. Okay, so let's keep reading. This investigation launched in response to an anonymous complaint filed found several problems with the study. One monkey in the control group was actually treated with the drug combo, for example. Ori also found that the team falsified and fabricated the number of drug doses given to the animals when these doses were given, and several other aspects of work. The altercations may have weakened the conclusions of this study, not strengthened them. So by placing a treated animal in the control group, for example, the work made the two drug combo seem less effective than it actually was. So that has caused some experts to wonder whether the study problems are due to carelessness rather than malfeasance. Still, it's carelessness. You're working with things like HIV and tuberculosis in living animals. The least you can do is treat them with care and love and respect. And not ruin what you're trying to succeed in this situation, because you are putting animals at risk. That's what's disgusting about this whole thing. Just to get grants. All this is, to release a study about a new finding and get some grants. He said, this was the first time incident, and to our knowledge, the only time this happened in his lab. Kishul retracted the paper that featured the data and corrected the study using appropriate study implementation. The results were exactly the same. Data from all studies carried out at Texas Biome have been reviewed and found to be accurate now. Texas Biome is confident, and this will not happen again. Somebody said, it's just really, really sad with, like I said, the least you can do is treat these animals with respect, if this is what you're doing to them. Love, empathy, care, kindness. Make sure you succeed as much as possible and fail as little as possible. I don't even approve of this going on and this happening. This is disgusting to me. Cruel, yes, right, Holly, cruelty is not okay. Absolutely not okay. But apparently, the government thinks that this can go on and this guy can keep his job and just be, watched over for the next year. Power is the purpose of religion. It's gained through blind obedience. Absolutely. You definitely, like I like to say, preaching to the choir. Talk about religion. So all scientists should be held to high ethical standards, but those of us working with non-human primates should be held to the highest ethical standards. See, we're stewards of science, and but we're also the stewards of the monkeys, which she is absolutely correct on that. Still, many in the field question whether he should remain their director, which receives about $10 million in federal funding per year, free government money, and houses about 2,500 marmosets, baboons, and macaws. Any scientist who knowingly and intentionally falsifies data for the purpose of scientific publication and or receipt of government funding should not be allowed to lead a research institution, says Ronald, former director of the now defunct New England Primate Research Center. Now defunct. Look at that. Sounds like a guy's pretty angry. A mistake is one thing, he says, who emphasizes that he is not familiar with the specifics of this case. Intentional falsification is another. So yeah, apparently cruelty is legal and you are allowed to do this, especially dealing with things like tuberculosis and HIV. I mean, anything bad could happen. You never know. I mean, look at what we've been having to deal with for the last 2.5 freaking years because of shit like that. Like, do you want tuberculosis start running rampant again? I don't know. Good morning, Punisher. Good vibes. Good vibes. Absolutely. Thank you. I'm so glad I got more than just 4 things to talk about because I'm a fast talker. I'm starting to come to realize that. Okay, so the next story I have is about the what's going on down in Mexico, and the update from that. So what it's saying recently is that troops are patrolling Tijuana after a weekend of fire and violence. So let's add this, and then we can start watching this.
A week of attacks across Mexico. Dozens of stores, cars, buses, and trucks set on fire. Chaos erupting among the public, and images of the destruction going viral.
Un propósito de propaganda criminal.
Today, federal authorities calling it a propaganda by criminal organizations attempting to assert their power. They say it's all in response to recent successful military operations, detaining cartel members and securing weapons, vehicles, and drugs.
So to me, it seems like maybe it's a battle versus the cartel and the government.
But the city remains on edge. In the city of Tijuana and its surroundings, authorities say at least 24 vehicles were set on fire Friday night. Public transportation coming to a halt with drivers too scared to operate.
I said they take off the people from the bus and they throw the gas in the bus and burning. I feel unsafe too. Yeah.
The U.S. consulate asking Americans to shelter in place or avoid crossing into Mexico from California, but for some Americans, it came too late. Many were attending a professional soccer match and the Baja Beach Music Festival, where some chose to stay despite the nearby violence.
It's just uncertainty that you just don't know what can happen. Like, you don't know, like, because, they're advising everyone to stay indoors, but it's like, we're going to a festival,
Typical Gen Z, right? You leave it up to Gen Z. Be like, oh, there's violence going on out there, and some people can die. Well, at least we're at a concert. That's right. I look good. I got my fit on. You know how they talk. Oh man, these Gen Zers! I swear that the end of the world mentality that they have and the humor that comes with that is just it's great. It's hilarious, and I love it. It's so funny. It's funny.
Authorities say the same type of fires and roadblocks took place in Jalisco and Guanajuato days before. Today, members of the president's cabinet informed 36 people have been arrested across the country directly linked to the violence, including the fires and roadblocks. Government officials have identified at least 3 of them as members of the new generation Jalisco cartel. Meanwhile, over the weekend, 300 members of the military special forces arrived in Tijuana to join the efforts by police and National Guard, attempting to maintain the peace in the streets.
All right, Guad Venegas joins Top Story live from Miami tonight. So, Guad, I want to ask you, over the weekend, there were reports of 11 people killed as a result of a clash between cartels in the border city of Juarez. So you have Tijuana on one side, Juarez on the other, both border towns. So I have to ask, is the U.S. monitoring this wave of violence, and what can they do, if anything?
Tom, the U.S. is monitoring, the whole world is monitoring what happens in Mexico. They receive a lot of tourism in the border cities and other parts of the country. What we can say is that according to Mexican authorities, these incidents were different. The incidents in Ciudad Juarez were the clash of 2 cartels, right? Authorities say it was the Juarez cartel versus the Sinaloa cartel inside a prison. The other incidents that we saw in all these images are incidents that they say were just a demonstration of power that did not leave any dead. Now, they did note that in the city of Tijuana, there's 3 cartels that are fighting for control. You've got the Sinaloa cartel, Arellano cartel, and the New Generation cartel. Now, they added that sending in the military and special forces should keep the streets safe. The real test, Tom, will be the next few days to see if the police and the military really do have control of the streets in cities like Tijuana.
So that's what's going on out there. It looks like it's just a mumble jumbo of all, people fighting for power, pretty much. I didn't look into too much of the government down there and the president, but from what I've heard, he's very national. I'm not sure if he's like nationalistic, like a Trump national, like right or left. But I heard that he's a nationalist. I heard that he probably is a liberal, I think. So I'm not sure what's going on out there. It's goddamn wild and brutal. But there's been violence going around in Mexico for a long time. I've known some people that have toured down there in the past. So, because of the cartel and stuff. So, I mean, it's been going on, for a long time. I think this is just another thing that's happening down there. I think I'm just paying attention to it more because I was like getting ready to I was like wanting to head down to TJ to get my cats fixed. So now I can't go down there because I'm scared of my car getting lit on fire. I think I was talking to Nikki about that the other day on her stream. So when she was showing this. So yeah, that's what's happening there. Let's add this to the stream so I can read the update. So troops patrol Tijuana as city emerges from a cartel-fueled night of terror. Look at $4. San Diego. We're looking at the San Diego Union Tribune. I saw that and I was like, that sounds actually pretty decent. So 24 vehicles were burned across the region, 15 in Tijuana, 17 arrests were made. Thousands of National Guard soldiers patrolled the streets in Tijuana on Saturday. At least 24 vehicles were charred across Baja California, including 15 in Tijuana. Some were public transportation vehicles, while others were privately owned, local authorities said. In some cases, the burned vehicles were left to block roadways. Vehicle fires were also reported in Mexicali, Rosarito Beach, Tecate, and Ensenada. Oh, look at my spooners today. It's good. Sorry, I'm like holding my cup. Okay, at least 24 vehicles were charred. Oh, wait. Meanwhile, messages began circulating on social media, purportedly from the cartel, declaring that it was implementing a curfew. The Post told residents they should go home or risk being attacked. Sounds like the purge. The U.S. Consul General in Tijuana advised Americans to seek shelter and to avoid traveling to the city. Because that's why I was looking into it and I couldn't. Many people shuttered their business or left the Zolo soccer game early Friday night. There were no reports of injuries. I think that's what we were watching was that soccer game and then the little festival right afterwards. People were just there, little Gen Zers partying it up, not giving up. Fiery demonstrations in Baja California mirrored similar bouts of violence and mayhem in Jalisco and Guanajuato. Earlier this week, studying residents across the country and crystallizing the ability of criminal organizations in Mexico to unleash violence, shatter normalcy, and shut down cities without hesitation. They shatter normalcy, the words they use, I swear it. EMLO nationalized lithium has called out the U.S. for its sanctions on Cuba, Venezuela, Nicaragua, and has called U.S. over Assange. The CIA wants to get rid of him, probably. That makes sense. Okay. That's probably why I've heard, the only things that I've heard about him is that he's a nationalist. And when you hear, that's usually not a bad thing when you a leader of your own country. You usually want to have the people of your country profiting off of the production and benefits, reaping what you sow of an economy. And that's all, that's basic layman's way of saying what nationalism is. So, that way that's not bad. And that all looks good to me. So yeah, it sounds like, America just wants to be a bully. But that, what about the cartels there? I think that maybe the government is just getting so popular with the people that the cartels can't handle it anymore, and they're losing their power, so they want to keep it. Maybe it's the cartels, like kind of like you're backed into a corner, and you got nothing left to do, so you're just that's when you fight your hardest. So like they're saying that this might just be a show of demonstration or a show of power for these governments. Some people had died in this thing. I'm glad at least in some of these days, people haven't died. It was just a show of force. So that's really good to hear at least. But yeah, it just seems like maybe the cartel might be just losing its power because the president is super popular. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. I don't know. Let's continue reading. Okay. Early Saturday morning, the streets of Tijuana appeared nearly empty, while several groups of late night workers were left stranded and without public transportation. This morning, we continue to work on the task of restoring peace in our state, said the Baja California governor in a taped statement released. She says, I fully understand the uncertainty that caused last night's violent event. I'm also aware of the discomfort it causes in the daily activities of citizens. That's why we're working to get back to normal. Following an emergency security meeting Saturday, Tijuana Mayor Montserrat confirmed that the citywide chaos was caused by members of the cartel Jalisco Nueva Generation. Okay, CJNG, a new generation. I at least know that. She cited the Baja California Attorney General, who said she confirmed the information during the security meeting. I am simply called to tell the population that in Tijuana, we are prepared, Caballero Ramirez said outside the military base in central Tijuana. We are not prepared to protect the city. Oh, sorry. I just said we're not prepared. We are prepared to protect the citizens and also to protect them in a calm way and not in a chaotic way. Between Friday night and Saturday afternoon, 17 suspects tied to the violence in Tijuana, Mexicali, Ensenada, and Rosarito Beach had been arrested, Mexican federal authorities said. Some of them were transferred to an airplane bound for Mexico City to be interviewed by federal investigators. Bars along the city's main tourist thoroughfare said they would be closed early Saturday night. Other restaurants in Baja will also be operating at limited hours. Makes sense. They just want to keep themselves safe. Hundreds of military troops and special forces were called in to assist, arriving at Tijuana's airport Saturday afternoon to reinforce security across the state. An additional 300 Army troops and another 50 members of the National Guard came off a plane armed and in uniform. These troops were in addition to 3,000 members of the National Guard and 2,000 members of Tijuana police already patrolling the city. Events similar to those seen in Tijuana on Friday played out across Mexico last week. The cartels went on a shooting spree, killing 9, including 4 employees of a radio station, after a fight between rivals at a local prison, which left 2 inmates passed. On Tuesday, drug cartel henchmen burned vehicles and business in the western states. David Shirk, a professor who follows organized crimes in Mexico, said, while the city had not seen vehicles burned at this scale before, public displays of violence intended to provoke fear and send a message are nothing new. Cartels and criminal groups in Mexico frequently hijack vehicles or roadways, burning them to distract police or prevent law enforcement from pursuing gunmen. Okay, so that's what I've seen. That's my experience. I haven't said anything because it's a really, really sad story, and it's like I've said before, it's not mine to share before Gen Z cartels. Jesus Christ, right? Less bones. They're just done. Hi, Nikki. Oh, guys, go check out Radical Leftist Agenda on Twitch. Right there, Radical Leftist Agenda. Hi, Nikki. You're never late. You're good. I think I'm just continuing. I think you talked about this the other day, so just continuing it, bringing it over here to KRTD. But that right there, that's the experience. Like I said earlier, it's nothing new, for Mexico to be doing these kinds of violence. It's just never seen this much before. I've known people who have gone down to Mexico and had their car burned and found out that it was just, it's a distraction. That's what they do. They'll burn a car to distract the police so that they'll be in that area so that the real members can go and you do what they do. Whatever they want to do, their gangs. So whatever, that's their thing. It's just I knew that the car that they had brought to down there was burned to be a distraction. And that's, I was hoping that maybe it was more, normal than I thought. because I thought, maybe that's just what they do down there when I heard the story from my friend. But seeing it here in the news kind of confirms that, okay, so that it is just that's just a normal thing. This is just more than what they're doing. So it's definitely most likely, I'd say I'm 85% just a show of force, and they're kind of pissed off at how happy the people are with the government that's going on right now. Sounds like they've got a pretty decent president, leader so far. I'm pretty sure somebody in the comment section eventually is going to say something bad because, no leader is perfect. So, even Daddy Putin, has his bad days. So around midday Saturday, taxi drivers cautiously made their way back outdoors and onto the streets. So it looks like things are getting back to normal. People are returning to work. Or feeling obligated to return to work. I feel that. We're definitely fearful about what happened and the possibility of losing a vehicle, having it burned, but we also feel that public transportation is a responsibility that we have. He added that it seemed like the criminal groups weren't looking to hurt anyone, but rather just trying to make a statement or issue a warning. Rodriguez noted an increased presence of police and government security forces in Zona Norte, a tourist zone of the bustling border city of about 2 million. Wow. Meanwhile, some tourists from Guadalajara took advantage of empty streets on Avenida Resolucion to snap photos in front of Tijuana's iconic arc. I think that's what that is right there. Yeah. They noted the violence seems normal to them and not as dramatic or deadly as they are used to seeing in central Mexico. So it's a normal thing down there. I mean, they've got cartels lighting cars on fire, and we have sad, pathetic little white boys shooting schools up and malls and churches and everything else. So, they got their own versions. We'll take our precautions, but in Guadalajara, there's been years of this type of violence happening in front of a cultural center. A confused American tourist wondered whether it was safe to take out his camera and take pictures. The cultural center announced it would be closed Saturday in light of the violent events Friday. Still, others worked to recoup their lost wages during the unofficial lockdown. They're working out of necessity. They couldn't work yesterday. Get these bad guys off the streets. Seems like the government is afraid of them, like they're cowards. Ooh, look at you, Estrada. Referring to the president, AMLO, which much criticized. Referring to the president's much criticized security strategy of hugs, not bullets. Oh, that's so cute, though. You guys got to do the little ooh woo with it. Hugs, not bullets. Ooh woo. The president proposed a form of amnesty for thugs, often reminding journalists and the public that you can't fight fire with fire. Right? I mean, I agree. Also received some criticism. Ramirez also received some criticism following her response to Friday's violence. In a video published on social media that night, she attributed the events to organized crime and asked citizens to remain calm. Then she added that the Tijuanese. Whoa, what do you call people that are from Tijuana? Tijuanese. Tijuanense. Oh, that's a hard one. Citizens should not have to pay the consequences of people who didn't pay their bills. Wait, what? She attributed the events to organized crime and asked citizens to remain calm. Then she added the Tijuana citizens should not have to pay the consequences of people who didn't pay their bills. Okay. Which many took to mean those who do not pay extortion fees to cartels. Oh, they're like the tax guys. That's not cool. She basically admits that there are fair targets and unfair targets. I mean, I guess Mexico's kind of, like I was saying earlier, if you look at the history of it, Mexico's kind of like how we were in the mafia days, like where New York was pretty much ran by, I mean, we still had a strong government though, but I could see the similarity there. So at least give me that. Yeah, right. Tijuana. I don't even know. Okay. Let me go a little bit more. I like this reading this. It's actually pretty interesting, and it's from the Union, so the San Diego Union Tribune. So it's got to be good. It says Union in it, right? I don't know. I'm a California girl who dyes my hair black, so I'm not smart. The authorities are not able to establish order. They're not able to hold people to account. It threatens anyone who attempts to stand up against organized crimes and their influence. Officials said surveillance at the entrance and exit of Ensenada will be reinforced through the weekend as Friday's crimes are investigated. I'm pretty sure it's still going on. So good. Okay, there's that one. I believe I have one more to go. I'm really trying to make it through with this hour. If you guys have anything you want me to talk about in the comment section, if I've got some extra time, I'll definitely talk about it. So this is something that I actually just saw this morning, actually, and it's not, like breaking news or, natural disasters or violence or anything like that. So, Tijuanese, yeah, I know. But see, because when you say like the Tijuanense, whatever, how Tijuanese, how you're saying it, it makes you like Taiwan, like so Taiwanese. So now you're gonna mix up Tijuana people with Taiwan, and I don't want to do that because then, yeah, leave it up to the world to make it confusing for people, or I'm just complaining. So I thought this was a really cool story. I'm gonna show you. So I'm going to show you the video first because and give you a little setup ahead of time. So back in the 70s, I believe, for the Oscars, Marlon Brando won an award and had a beautiful lady named Sacheen Littlefeather come up and reject the award because of the treatment of Indigenous people and what happened at Wounded Knee, which, shout out to some white people. Apparently, that shit just happened in like 1970s. Wounded Knee tells you how dumb we fucking are and how little we fucking know and how close history is to us, to where we are now, how not far off it is. Because you hear like, Wounded Knee or, like that kind of Indigenous fighting, especially as a younger person. I mean, even thinking like putting myself in like these Gen Zer shoes. They're thinking, 1800s, 1700s, cowboy and Indian days. And it wasn't in the 1900s. They probably think it's just in movies and back then, and it wasn't actually happening. But Wounded Knee, holy crap. Yeah. So, okay. Okay, good. You saw it. So I'm going to show you, the actual the video of what happened for the Oscars that day and how this woman was treated, and then we'll get to talking about what happened in the news today with this. Here we go.
I learned a great deal from a director named Ingmar Bergman. Often to be most eloquent is to be silent.
You're quite right. The film we've just seen has said it all. I think we should say that those nominated for the best performance by an actor are
Marlon Brando in The Godfather.
Michael Caine in Sleuth,
Laurence Olivier in Sleuth.
Peter O'Toole in The Ruling Class,
Paul Winfield in Sounder. The winner is Marlon Brando in The Godfather.
Accepting the award for Marlon Brando and The Godfather, Miss Sacheen Littlefeather.
You can't tell me she is not fucking gorgeous. She is so pretty. Oh, I love her outfit. Oh my God. It just, the whole thing, it's so culturally beautiful. Makes me cry. Makes me want to cry. It's so pretty. Look at all those.
Hello, my name is Sacheen Littlefeather. I'm Apache,
and I am president of the National Native American Affirmative Image Committee. I'm representing Marlon Brando this evening, and he has asked me to tell you in a very long speech, which I cannot share with you presently because of time, but I will be glad to share with the press afterwards, that he very regretfully cannot accept this very generous award. And the reasons for this being are the treatment of American Indians today by the film industry, excuse me,
I want a screenshot of everyone in the audience in that moment right there that was booing. And I just want to know who they are, because this is crazy, you know, just hearing the boos in there in the Oscars over the treatment of human beings, because a guy didn't want to take an award because of the treatment of human beings, that people booed him. Hollywood is just disgusting.
and on television in movie reruns, and also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee. I beg at this time.
So that when I watched that part this morning, that's when I said, well, what do you mean Wounded Knee? That you're making it sound like it's so recent at this time. And guess what, you guys? It's recent. I mean, at that time, it was recent. So, yeah, let's finish.
That I have not intruded upon this evening, and that we will, in the future, our hearts and our understandings will meet with love and generosity. Thank you on behalf of Marlon Brando.
She didn't want to be rude and interrupt. Like, interrupt, girl. I wish, she was this age during now. Like, I would have lifted her up. So here's the recent news about what's going on with that whole situation. So Oscars apologized to Native American actress Sasheen Littlefeather 50 years after Marlon Brando protest speech. The head of the Oscars Academy says that Littlefeather has shown courage despite decades of abuse, as she welcomes the apology as, and I love her for this, better late than never. I swear, Indigenous people are just the most patient, caring, understanding people. But then you've got that little, the little cool jab, like better than, better late than never. Ricky Gervais was right about them. They would work with ISIS if they opened a studio. Yeah, you're talking about the Hollywoods. Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. Yeah, Hollywood is disgusting, which I'm going to start using that word this morning, because I have officially unsubscribed this morning from the Humanist Report with Mike Figueredo, which I kind of liked watching him a little bit here and there, but I unsubscribed from him today because he decided to say on his videos this morning that porn is disgusting. Thank you for being an activist for the positive sex work, buddy, as a gay man. Lost me. So I'm out from there from now on. I'm never going to be watching his stupid butt again, ever. That's one of my passions. Positive sex work is a huge, big passion of mine. Sorry, I'm training or going off course. Oscars Academy apologized to her when she took the stage for Marlon Brando when he won Best Actor Award in 1973. Brando sent Littlefeather in his place as a protest against the treatment and stereotypical portrayal of Indigenous Americans or Indigenous people by the film industry. The film legends gave her a long speech, but the activist and actress was only allowed a minute to relay his sentiments to an estimated 85 million viewers. Littlefeather refused to accept the statue from Roger Moore. So we just saw the video. of that. In an open letter, the Academy's president, David Rubin, offered his deepest apologies and sincere admiration. And in an open letter to the 75-year-old, he praised her courage and said the abuse she has suffered was unwarranted and unjustified. Regarding the Academy's apology to me, she said, we Indians are very patient people. She's such a G. Look, regarding the Academy's apology to me, we Indians are very patient people. It's only been 50 years. I swear. The way that people are allowed to talk to these elite old white people that just own everything, the power hungry, just having that freedom to be able to say stuff like that to them is just awesome. And they do it so well, the snarky, it's just great. We need to keep our sense of humor about all of this at all times. It's our method of survival, which then I absolutely love them. Like I was just saying, it's great. But then now you're going to make it sad because it's their survival, which is, it's true. A lot of people, a lot of people in history that have been funny didn't have an easy life, so. She also said it was a dream come true that the Academy is hosting an evening of conversation, healing, and celebration featuring herself and Native American performances on 17th of September. Brando turned down the Oscar for the role in Godfather. He later told U.S. television he felt it was a marvelous opportunity to speak to tens of millions of people, as the American Indian hasn't been able to have his voice heard anywhere in the history of the United States. Go Marlon Brando, slay king. That's what I'm talking about. Keep that crown, boy. Good for him. I'm really happy that he did that. That he did that for her and for that community. I think that was absolutely incredible. Fuck the Academy Awards. Fuck the Oscars. They're all pieces of shit anyway. What are they? They literally just banned Will Smith from all of that stuff, and then now they're apologizing to a Native American. So in 50 years, Will, expect your apology. Okay, I'm just saying. It's going to be in 50 years though, so you might as well be patient. Maybe your kids can accept the apology for you, because I know you're getting up there in the age too. So yes, Brando is cool. Absolutely. I don't even know who he is because I don't watch The Godfather, and I'm about to get a whole entire audience super pissed off at me right now, but not a Godfather person. I'm not into all that mafia stuff. That's my husband's thing. He likes that. He likes that mafia stuff. Let's get into some of the comments because I am finished. I finished. So 5 articles if I'm by myself because I talk too much. No, not 4, not 15 minutes for each. I'd give myself 10 to 13 minutes for each article. So, okay, good. Okay, Holly's on my side. She hasn't seen it either. I swear, sometimes I feel like I'm the only person who's never seen Godfather because I've just never been into the whole mafia cartel, let's run the streets, all that, gangster stuff. I mean, I like the hats and the zoot suits and stuff that, that they wear, but it just, I don't know, just never, I'm a female, so, give me fantasy over violence. I did it, Holly, yay. Okay, so let's see what else Les Bones says. White helmets. Oh my gosh, right, I totally forgot about the white helmets. Man, that shit was crazy. Did you see that they did that TikTok trend that one time where somebody walks through an area and everybody's just frozen in place and doing their thing, and it was the white helmets did that and they made it look so real, like they were rescuing people from a bombing. It was all faked. It was all phony. Man, yeah, men worship the movie. I know they do. They absolutely do. It shows you where their minds are. I know. My husband is always up for robbing banks. I think that's your comment section is always full of bank robber wannabes too as well. Les Bone says they think all sex work is exploitative. Absolutely. That's what, I was just talking to my husband about that yesterday. How they look down on the sex industry and call it disgusting, like what Mike Figueiredo said this morning, calling it disgusting. But out of all of the other industries, like, you know, regular, you know, media, TV, movies, you know, independent films, like, you're treated better as the you know, the actresses and stuff. You're treated so much better, even in the behind the scenes stuff. You're treated so much better in the porn community than you are in the regular media community. It seems, you know, they do drug tests, you know, they do, I mean, not drug tests, they do STD tests, you know, twice a month. They're catered to, you know, even like, it's just, my husband's doing it for 25 years. Like, if anybody knows the ins and outs of all that industry, it would be him. And then me being in, you know, the film industry, like, I've been, you know, behind the scenes for Power Rangers, and I've taken like these stupid Hollywood, you know, film classes and acting classes, and I've seen the ins and outs of it. I've gone to, you know, an audition for a Disney Channel show and seen the things that have happened, you know, so I know this, you know, I know how disgusting it is, and I know how brutal it is, and how much the sex work industry is just, they're treated so much nicer, but then they're looked down and frowned upon. So yeah, Mike Fuckerado, but I still sub for cringe notifications. Like I said earlier, I just unsubscribed from him today, and it wasn't even anything to do with sex work. It was a video he released this morning about Marjorie Taylor Greene, and in there he was saying something about that watching porn and video gaming is cool and that he likes to do it. And then he, like, it was just a little sidetrack thing that he said. He's like, sorry, Mom, I know you're watching. Don't worry, I don't like porn. It's disgusting. And I'm like, I get it. I understand you need to tell your mom, you know, to make your mom love you or whatever. I get it. You don't want your mom to think that you're watching porn. Whatever. That's your agenda. But to say the word disgusting, like, that's the word. Like, you're a gay man in America, like, if anybody knows what oppression, you know, like, oppression could look like and feels like, it's a gay man, and the porn industry feels that same way, has to deal with the same thing. I mean, like, even if you, like, my husband is the lighting guy and the camera guy for the industry, and he has to make his own special independent company name to get a bank account just to be able to get paid, because bank accounts won't take porn money, won't at all. So for us to even be able to have a bank account and to pay bills and everything like that, he has to make an independent company. And that everybody that's in the industry everybody makes their own independent company. And that money just goes from their company to the next. And that's how they pay each other. That's how the paying works. You know, their whatever, the work, you know, the money they make, that they get paid for to work. It's just from, you know, it's, you're working, like, let's say you're working for Adam and Eve today, but the director is this name. So Adam and Eve will give the director this, you know, the director this amount of money. And then the director will take that money from his own personal account and then divvy it out to everybody that's on set that needs to get paid for that day. And it's through all their own independent companies. And it's just, it's horrible. It's not fair the way that we're treated. But then you got people out there like Mike Figueredo going around saying, you know, you could have used any other word but disgusting. Like, that just lost me. You're right. Sorry, Holly. I have to go too. Let's see what else. Thank you, Holly, for coming. Les Bone, sorry to say, but Chris Hedges is also against pornography because he thinks that why you gotta make me cry today? Like, you're just, like, making that snowball get bigger rolling down the hill today. Whatever. It's kind of like a Richard Wolff too. Like, I don't really like a lot of things he says, but, you know, once he's dead, that's all we've got. Just the words from his past. But yeah, no, I get it. Yeah. Okay, that sucks. But the bank takes exactly. The bank will take child trafficking money. It'll take anything else, you know, it'll take whatever. But yeah, no, if you even say or mention that you're in a porn company, nothing. Thank you, radical leftist Nikki, for coming. Yes, it's okay to have differences. I know, Les Bones, don't make me cry. Thank you, Holly. Thank you, Les Bones, for coming. You guys are really awesome. I know I saw Dolores in here as well. probably going to be going live today on my Twitch at some point. Let me know, Nikki, if you want to like send me a message on Twitch and let me know what time you go on. I'll get on like before you get off or something. I mean, I can even start. I don't know. I was thinking about maybe going on in an hour or so. I'm not sure. Depends. I got a couple things set up that we could probably watch, but I've been talking for over an hour now, so I might need a couple of hours, take some Excedrin, and then I'll get on once I'm all fully awake. I might play some video games today, you guys. I know Fortnite got some new Dragon Ball characters in there, so it's all kind of cool Dragon Ball stuff in Fortnite. So maybe I'll do some gaming. I don't know. We will see. Everybody have a good day. Don't forget to go check out Radical Leftist Agenda on Twitch too. Don't forget to download Twitch if you don't have it. Twitch is kind of like the new cool spot to go. It's exactly like YouTube, but you get to start fresh and clean with a whole new subscription base if you want. And the ads are a little bit easier to deal with. The emotes that you can use in the live chats are so much fun. Just a lot of audience creator interaction. Great place. Go check out me at Image Productions and go check out my girl Nikki, Radical Leftist Agenda. And I will catch you all tomorrow. Okay.